Alright YouTubers, here we go. This is Mike with Living Life Outdoors. What I'm going to try to showcase here today is basically I got a small area that I see a lot of deer in, and I'm trying to give them a place to stop while I bow hunt and muzzleloader hunt out on this piece of property. So basically what you see here is just a small patch of fingered woods. I usually put my tree stand up there, and then I have a big swamp out here on this side, and then there's also another swamp over to this side. So basically the deer take this area that I'm looking at, this strip of woods, and it's just a big runway. So they go right past me here at 10 yards and they move on out this other direction from east to west. So what I have is basically just a bunch of hand tools. I got a bunch of different kinds of clover, because clover is the only thing that'll grow in shaded areas, and I got a mix of everything. So I have medium red clover, white Dutch clover, ladino clover, and alsike clover, because I don't want to take the time to do a soil test and pH. I'm just going to have a little mix of everything, and I'm going to clear out a small food plot right in here, try to scrape the leaves away as best I can and work around the trees, get it down to the dirt, and then I'm going to broadcast spread some seed in, way overseed it, because I don't know how much of this stuff's going to take, and then hopefully some of it will grow and it'll give me a nice place for the deer to stop and take a quick shot at while I'm up here in my tree. So I'll kind of give you an idea of what we got here. Basically, again, I don't have any way to get a four-wheeler back here because it's kind of a long walk and there's not a trail. So all I have is a rake, a spreader, the world's best tree clearing piece of machinery ever invented, a machete. This one happens to be a US Army issue, and it's your basic Ontario Knife USA. I've had this machete for a lot of years. It's parkerized, and it is absolutely invaluable when it comes to doing this. I think if a guy had a pocket knife and a machete, he could probably live out in the woods for a long time. They're absolutely the best thing to have if you're going to do any of this kind of stuff. You can keep your chainsaws, saws, hand saws. I'll take a machete any day because it cuts through trees faster than you can shake a stick at it. So this is kind of, like I said, the area. It's basically just a slightly wooded area with some underbrush. I'm going to do my best I can to clear some of it and make some shooting lanes and throw it out in some seed. And we'll do a before and after, and we'll see what it turns out to be like. Alright guys, here's what we got now. Basically, I got about 20 minutes worth of work with the machete here. Again, you can see it stuck in a tree. It's another good idea with the machete is if you're going to use the machete to clear brush, don't ever lay it down on the dirt. They get extremely hard to find. The zombie series, I forget who makes them. I can't remember the name of the company right now. But there's a zombie machete series where the handles are all fluorescent orange. Greatest idea in the world. That way you can always find your machete. Same thing with gutting knives. If they're camouflage and you set them down, especially in the dark, they get extremely hard to find. So if you don't have a sheath for your machete, or you don't want to walk around with it on a sheath and you're doing brush clearing like this, make sure you stick it somewhere where you can find it so you don't spend 15 minutes looking around in the underbrush for it. But anyway, back to this. So we got about 20 minutes worth of cutting with the machete, and we have all of our underbrush all cut down. Again, this is not going to be a large food plot. All of this is what's called a shot plot. So basically, again, we're trying to give the deer a place to stop and eat so that we have a chance to ambush them from our tree stand while they're unsuspecting and not walking. That way you don't have to try to stop a deer by whistling or using your grunt call. You can just wait for them to make a nice broadside shot. They may mingle around in here for 5 or 10 minutes and give you the opportunity for a perfect shot. So again, 20 minutes worth of work with a machete. We got all the underbrush cleaned up, and now we're going to just rake it all up. Now another thing that we're going to do is use all this underbrush to our advantage. You can see that this area is pretty heavily wooded over here. But what we want to do is make what's called a funnel. So basically what I want to do is make it so that the deer have to walk right through this area here. So I'm going to take all my underbrush and pile it up in a line right out this way, and basically make a fence out of knockdown brush. That way the deer have to come in where I want them to, hopefully, and they'll have to come out where I want them to also. So again, we're trying to make it so that they don't go too far away and they're in a nice killable area for you, so that you don't have to make a shot that you don't want to. It's going to be a nice, easy 10-15 yard shot at a standing deer that's sitting, or that's bent down and eating your clover that you're putting in. So we'll show you what it looks like after it's all raked up. Okay, so here we go. We got about another 15 minutes worth of work into this now. So we're roughly at the 40-minute mark, and it's starting to look like something. So we have all the underbrush cleared out. We're gonna start raking here. You can see where I just made a little dent in it. That's what we're gonna try to get the whole thing to look like before we throw our seed down. Here's what I was talking about with the fence, basically. Here's what you got is I took all that brush and just piled it up here. Basically, I want these deer to come in right here so that as soon as they get into my food plot, they're within range. So if it stops and presents a shot to me right here, I'm gonna be able to shoot it. And then you can see over here where I'm just using this deadfall as a guide. Now, hopefully I might clear out some more of this. I'll have to see, take my rangefinder and see how far away this is. Again, I'm trying to keep this about 20 yards by 20 yards because I want deer within range, nice and close, so that I can make good, solid shots on them with no mistakes, because I hate tracking deer. I want it to expire as soon as it can. So that's basically what it's starting to look like here. Again, this is more of the fence. We want them to come in where we want them to, and we want them within range. So this is what it's looking like at the basically 40-minute mark. Alright, so here's what we got after about, this was the longest part here. This took about an hour. So obviously raking leaves and sticks up is not a good time, but it's going to be worth it after this stuff starts to grow and fill in, and see what kind of movement we get from the deer out of it. So I brought two different kinds of rakes with, but I found out that just a normal leaf rake worked the best, especially when you see all this little stuff that's left. So, you know, all these little sticks and stuff that we didn't knock down all the way to the ground, obviously, because we didn't really want to, and stumps, they were grabbing the normal heavy-duty rake pretty hard, so it was making it really tough to get anything done. So I'd recommend just this, and then if you want to really rough the ground up, if you need to get good contact with your seed, then maybe go back and hit some of the really tough spots with a more aggressive rake. But here's where we're at now. So we've got another hour attached to this, so here we're at basically about an hour and 40 minutes, and we got ourselves a really nice prepared area. Now if you wanted to make this even go better, and you could start from here and hit it with Roundup and kill everything, but I'm not really worried about that too much. You know, I'm just trying to give them something to stop and eat. I'm not trying to feed a whole herd of deer. So if I have to redo this again in a year or two, you know, it won't be too bad after now that we have most of the work done. Some guys will go and pull out all these little branches like this. I actually kind of like to leave them because they'll grow again, and what it'll do is help give the deer something to browse on. They like nice, short, young growth. So with all these little pieces here, they'll sprout up again and they'll grow. And probably next spring again, I'll come back in and have to machete it again and knock down that stuff a little bit. But this will give us some other stuff just besides clover for them to eat. It'll give them some nice little new growth that they might eat over the winter, or even here in the summer. So we're going to throw down some seed. Basically, we're just going to use a broadcast spreader, spread it around, and show you what that looks like when we're done, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's what we got. I just basically put it all in this hand spreader, and here's what I ordered. I ordered a pound of medium red clover, a half a pound of white clover, white Dutch clover, a half a pound of ladino clover, and a half a pound of alsike clover. And that covered an area about 10 yards by 10 yards by 10 yards by 10 yards. So this is probably enough seed to do 1/4 of an acre, which is way bigger than this, but I know that the birds are going to come in here and eat it. The turkeys are going to come in here and eat it. And, you know, this isn't exactly ideal when it comes to the prep that we did. So I'm going to way overseed it just because seed is cheap and time is not. So I have about $10 worth of seed from my local seed company. I prefer to buy seed locally. You can order it off the internet or buy it from Cabela's, but I went right to the feed mill in town, North Branch Peterson Mill. They're great guys. They give you any information that you want to know about how to plant, and I want to support the local businesses as much as I can. You know, let the people that don't have access to a feed mill buy their stuff from the Whitetail Institute or one of the other 100 other name brands there are. But I'd rather get it directly from a feed mill because they give me support. So now that I have this all spread out broadcast wise, I'm just going to go back over it again with my rake and just kind of stomp it around. You don't have to really bury this kind of seed clover. You just really need to get good contact with the ground. I'm hoping it's going to rain out tonight. It's nice and cool here, 1st of May, 2nd of May actually. So I'm hoping that Mother Nature will help me out with a little bit of rain, which will pound the seed down into the ground a little bit. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll have it done. That'll be the last thing. I'm just going to walk around and rake and stomp it down. And then this will be the end of the video. I'll come back in a week or two, and hopefully we'll have little sprouts everywhere that we'll get to take some pictures of. So thanks for watching, and I hope you found this informative. All right, so basically we have 2 hours worth of work roughly, a couple bottles of water, and one nice blister, and about $10 worth of white clover, red clover, ladino clover, and alsike clover mixed. Pretty good workout, especially for the spring here. The snow is finally gone in Minnesota, so I've been sitting on the couch watching too many YouTube videos and not exercising enough. So make sure if you're going to do this time of year that you drink a lot of water and don't overexert yourself, because if you're like me, you probably didn't get enough exercise this winter. But we got a nice food plot going here, and hopefully we'll get a nice amount to grow in, and we'll get some pictures of some deer next time. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks.